Hey guys, this is Richard Borston. Welcome back. Welcome. We are in a super exciting lesson, although it's going to be a quick one and it's going to be pretty fast. So you definitely don't want to blink on this one. But the reason why it's fast is that we've done all the work. We've done all the hard work, and now we're going to get them to the close. We're ready to close them, but all the hard work's been done already. So how does that work? How do we close them? The close is so focused upon it. It's revered. It's and sometimes reviled. But it doesn't have to be that way. The close is very simple, and there's a very simple way to approach it. And we'll talk about all of that, and we're gonna get into that right now. Look, here's the thing. I know that people will spend months memorizing different closes and how to move them from here to there and deal with this objection and that objection. That's not the mindset that I want you to take. First of all, most of the time you're not having to do this on the fly, right? But even if you did, it's not that important that you memorize closes and you have we are going to talk about a few closes today, and they're effective closes, but it's not the end all be all of closes. Okay, closes are not where you have to hang your hat, man. If I don't have like the killer close, then I can't make it happen. That's not actually how it works, and I'll explain why in a minute. But really, at this point, I want you to, it's almost like relax, right? It's when you get to the close, it's not that you want to tone it down and lose that momentum. You want to keep the momentum going. But what you don't want to do is think like, oh, now is where I really start working. That's not how it works. Okay, so let's talk about what you're going to learn today. The importance, you're going to learn, first of all, the importance of using your entire copy as a plot to get people to the point that you close them quickly. We're going to talk about the basic but important ways to write copy so that you can close your prospects. We are going to talk about 6 different closes that work. And then ultimately, the importance of future pacing in the close and why that's important. Okay, so let's get to it, because this is look, you might think that the close is something that's so detailed and so amazing that we need to spend a whole lot of time on it. Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think you don't need to. We're not going to have to spend a whole lot of time talking about it, because all the work is done up front. Look, here's the deal. When you're at the close, that's not when you start closing. You start closing them at the very beginning. You start closing them with the headline. Or if there's a pre-ad, if there's an ad that drives them into like a landing page, you could think of a teaser on an envelope. You're already starting to close them. You start closing them from the moment that they begin interacting with whatever the delivery system is that you're working with, whether it's online or offline. It doesn't matter. You are closing them the whole way through. And in some ways, you already know this, right? Because that's what we talked about, first of all, when we started talking about the offer. That's why we had the offer way up front in the training. Because if you don't know where you're heading, then you don't know how to get there. Like I said, if you get on a train and you don't know where you're going, then you don't know where you're going to end up. But if you know you're heading for Los Angeles, then you can take those steps to move towards Los Angeles, however that's going to work. And depending on where you're starting from, it's going to be a different step, right? If you're starting in Santa Fe, New Mexico, getting to Los Angeles is going to be a different journey than if you're starting in Peru and you're trying to take the train or you're trying to get somewhere, trying to get to Los Angeles. 2 different things. So you got to know where you're starting from. You got to know where you're getting to. And that's why we talked about the offer. That's also why in the body section, when we were talking about going through the body, we talked about going through the logical sequence, right? Do you remember that? So the logic sequence it's the steps that you take to get them from where you're beginning to where you need them to get to. That is closing them. You're closing them the whole way along. And this is the mindset that you have to have is I'm setting up what I'm going to ask them to do. I'm setting up what I'm going to ask them to do. And you just need to keep thinking of, is this helping set up what I want to ask them to do? This is really important to keep in mind. What am I going to ask them to do? Is this going to get them? Every single word and sentence needs to answer to that accountability. Does this word or sentence get them closer, one step closer to the close? Very important thing to think about. And if you do it right, then once they get to the close, it's a simple step. Now it's just like, well, now you're going to take them and tell them, here's how to do it. Here's what you need to do. And the benefits of if you do it right are that they'll be asking you, what do I do? What do I do? How do I do this? What's my next step? And so the close is going to answer that question. What is the next step? Okay, so make sure you got that in your mind. You locked it in. If you remember nothing else from today, make sure you remember that and keep that firmly. It's easy to get trapped in the nuances of a certain structure of a sales letter, or a certain way of doing something, and you gotta march them through, and you start here and you go here and then you do this and you do all these things and you get them. But what gives you the creativity and what gives you the drive to go and be innovative and to start new ideas is by remembering, this is where I'm starting from. This is where I need to get to. How do I get from where I'm starting from to where I get to? You know, one of the things that I love about being out in the country is the innovations that you see out in farms, because farmers are so creative in how they solve problems. And they're so creative because a lot of times they don't have unlimited resources to solve a problem. So if they've got a pipe that's broken, they may come up with the most ingenious way of fixing that broken pipe so that they can continue to use it. And you'll look at that and you'll be like, wow, I never would have even thought of that. And yet these guys did, not because they're some super creative guys, but because they knew that this is what I had, this is what I need to do, this is what I'm going to do to try to fix the problem. Let's see how it goes. That is how you become creative and inventive. So I want you to keep that in mind, is that while everyone loves to talk about going from here to here and how to do all that, the thing is that you can do it infinitely different ways, so long as they all can answer yes to the accountability questions. Does this bring them closer to that close? Does this bring them to that point and build up the case for getting that close? So if you do all that, then the close is just a matter of it's just an administrative thing at that point. Okay. Now, let's say you've done all that. Let's say that you've successfully moved them to that point that you want them to be at. You've got them all the way along. They're here. They're ready for the close. What do you do? Well, first of all, you've got to give them the offer. You got to tell them what the benefits are. You got to tell them what they're going to get. Tell them about how to get what they want. So bring up the benefits of what it is that they're going to get. give them the offer. The offer is what? You tell them what they're going to get and tell them how to get it. That's what an offer is. Okay? And then what you're going to do is ask for the sale. This is really important. People are afraid to ask for the sale. They're afraid to say, oh, here's what you do to get it. But here's the thing, is that if you've done your job, then they're going to want it. It'd be like telling somebody how great ice cream is and how delicious it is and how wonderful it feels in your mouth and the flavors and the texture and it's so delicious. And then not telling them how to get any. That's what it should be like for them. They'd be like, it's almost like they're mad that you didn't tell them what to do to get this ice cream. Okay. So you're going to give them the benefits. You're going to give them you're going to tell them the benefits of what it is that you're offering them. You're going to tell them the offer, tell them what they get and what they have to do to get it. You're going to ask for the sale. You're going to ask for it confidently, because if they're at that place where they've listened to you this long, whatever that listening is, whether it's through reading, whether it's through a VSL, whether it's through a commercial, whatever it is, if they've gotten that far, then you have their interest. They're interested. Tip them in. Tell them what to do. And when you tell them what to do, make sure that it's specific. Don't piddle paddle around. Make sure that you tell them what it is that you want them to do. If it's on a landing page and it's a VSL or something, then tell them, click on the orange button here to go to the next page, fill out your name, your address, your phone number, and then click on the next button, and that's gonna sign this deal and get you moving forward in the direction whatever direction that it is that they're going to be going. If it's in a letter, then dial this number and ask for Sally. She's gonna make sure that she's verified your information and get this over to you within 24 hours. Be specific. Tell them what to experience, what they're going to experience. And we'll talk a little more about that in just a second. But whatever you do, be very specific. Now, there's one time when you don't want to be specific. And that is sometimes in a VSL, you're going to be testing things. So in the example that I gave, click on the orange button here to go to the next page to make your purchase. You may not want to say, click on the orange button. If you are going to say that, then what I would suggest is to record multiple colors. Because if you're going to test something, then do the shot with multiple takes of that spot. So if you're going to test prices, then show all the variations of the prices that you're going to test. Show all the variations of the colors that you're going to test. Record them all, then edit them out, and then you can just drop them in. That way you're not having to do audio matches or sequencing matches or all that stuff. You can just pull it out, drop it in, pull it out, drop it in, and it's just an editing job at that point. So do all those takes at once, and then you can go through and you can test the different takes. You can test the $195, the $295, the $395, $495, $995 for the price. And then you could also test, click on the red button, click on the orange button, click on the blue button right now. So that way you can be specific, but not have to reshoot everything all the time. Now, if you don't want to do that, then just say, click on the button here to go blah, blah, blah. Okay, but the more specific you can be, then do it. The last part is I should say the last. It's actually we got two more things. So then there's the PS. The PS is, you're going to find that in the letter, right? It stands for postscript. That's often the second thing that people will read, particularly in a direct mail piece. But even so, in a landing page type scenario where you've got a sales letter, they're going to read the headline, they're going to scroll down, they're going to look at the signature block. And as part of the signature block, they're going to look at the PS. So this often the second thing that they read, pretty important, right? What do you do? Well, there's a few things. There's a few different options that you can do in the PS. Let's talk about those. One of the things that you can do is add a fast reply bonus. So if you call right now, you'll get these 3 extra things, but you have to order now in order to get the bonus. Or you can have respond by Thursday to get X. What's really interesting about that, particularly in a letter, is that we automatically will assume it's this Thursday. You can say that. You don't have to give a date. It's a great way of adding like a scarcity without having to redate everything, especially if you've got a direct mail piece going out. It's a great way to get on their radar screen of, hey, this is limited, but not have to actually say date. So when if they open in on a Tuesday, they're going to think, oh man, I only got 2 days. If they open on a Wednesday, they're like, oh man, I got to get this by tomorrow. If they open on a Thursday, they're going to think, oh, I've got to do it today. Now, if they open on a Friday, they're going to think they have till next Thursday, which is why generally if you're mailing something, it's good to mail it on a Friday, ideally on a Saturday, because ideally you want to have it hit between Tuesday and Thursday. So Thursday is a good day, but just a little side note that can actually work. Or you can do it online as well. There's nothing that's going to keep it from working online. It's the same psychological event. So that's one thing you could do is in the PS is you could do a fast reply bonus. If you call right now, you get these 3 extra things. The next one is to introduce a call-in bonus as a way to get people to call right now. So you can say, hey, call and we'll give you this thing. So you're just adding, you're not necessarily giving the scarcity, but you're just saying call here. You're just adding a little added bonus. Now, another way that you could do it is you can list some of your most powerful testimonials in there. So you could say, hey, Dave found this amazing offer. Here's what he had to say. Another way that you can do it is to push for more reason, give more reasons, and almost in a sense, reclose the prospect. So just give them that list, give them those reasons why. So it'd be something like, not only do you get blah, 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 not only do you get the pen and you get these 2 pens, but you also get this free envelope and this thing of glue. And so you're restating what it is and the benefits and the time savers. You're going to talk about saving time. You're going to talk about saving money. You're going to talk about making money. You're going to whatever it is that are those triggers that you're hitting. Use those, and you're just going to reclose them. Okay. The other thing is you can restate the guarantee. So something like, this is a no lose situation. You can try this risk free for 6 months, or don't forget about our. Remember, we have that rock solid ironclad 6-month guarantee. You don't love it, you don't buy it. Another thing that you can do is talk about the price. This is a little trick that I learned from Gary Halbert in his famous coat of arms letter. One of the things that you'll notice in that letter is that he doesn't talk about the price until the PS. And what that gives, and it's only appropriate in specific cases. But remember, the setup on this letter was, I'm just a housewife who found this stuff and we're creating these cool things, and I saw your name and I thought you might want one. So let me know if you do. Signed, Sally, I forget the name. Oh, by the way, you can send your $2 to da-da-da. What is it about? It's almost like I'm just giving you information, and yeah, there's a cost associated with it, but that's not really what's important. It's almost like yeah, I know you've got to have this, so that's right, I better tell you what it is. Okay, so that's a real effective way. I've used that a lot in fundraising stuff, But you can use it in other ways, especially if the character that you're creating for this communication is someone who's not a kind of a go-get-it salesman, but is instead just maybe like that character I described, a housewife or just an everyday Joe. You could roll that into the PS and just have all that information down there and the price and all that stuff. And it gives the impression that it's just an afterthought. Very powerful. Don't miss that. Now, another thing that you can use are sidebars, and you can use those to enhance your close. So, with a sidebar, you're going to put a block of text. If you've ever seen a sidebar, it's almost like a second thought. And that's where you can use those sidebars to draw your prospect's attention to key points. So, like something like, this is a screaming hot deal that it's too good to pass up. You can hit them with a really strong, powerful proof or a strong testimony, something that adds a lot of credibility to your offer. Or you can include the money back guarantee. There's no way you could possibly lose with this offer type of language. Those are really great sidebars that just kind of add a layer into the conversation that they can kind of bounce back. So they're reading it, bouncing over here. Wow, dude. Colin Powell thinks this is really cool, or Suzanne Summers thinks this is amazing, and then jump back. Or, wow, that doctor who got the Nobel Peace Prize, he uses this all the time. Okay, very cool. And then it just adds that layer of credibility into the piece. Okay, so let's review that real quick. So what we've talked about so far is you're not closing them at the close. You're basically telling them how to get what they want. If you've done your job right, you've been closing them all along the way. And now it's like, here's what to do to get what you want. When you do get into the close, what you're doing is you're repeating your main benefits. You're giving them that offer. And the offer is telling them what they get and what they have to do to get it. You're telling this prospect specifically what to do. So you're telling them to click on the orange button to go here. You're telling them to make that phone call. You're telling them to text that message. Whatever it is that call it, you're being specific and you're being direct. And the more specific you can be, the more direct, the better it is. You're also going to include a powerful PS if you've got it set up that way. Now, don't forget that a PS can also be like kind of that last thought in a VSL or in a presentation. So you can set up a PS in a lot of different ways. And in that case, what you're going to do is you can tell them like a fast reply bonus. You can give them just a call-in bonus. You can have a list of powerful testimonies. You can push for even more sale and just basically reclose them, re-go over everything. Or you can give them real powerful proof, another something that would add credibility to the offer. And you can restate the guarantee, or you can just give them the price as kind of like an afterthought. Now, and then finally, what we talked about was the sidebars. You use those to enhance your close. It's too good of a deal to pass up. There's no way you can lose with this offer, like a money back guarantee, or like a super strong testimony that's going to give you a lot of credibility in there as well. Okay, now let's move to the next thing that we want to talk about, which are specific closes that can work really well when you're writing copy. So the first close I'm going to talk about is called the crossroads close. And we've all experienced this one, right? You've got three options. Look, I've told you about this great opportunity. And at this point, you really have three options. Your first option is you can do nothing. You can stay exactly where you are, keep struggling with the same problems that you're struggling with, keep getting the same results that you're doing, and not respond to this at all. The other thing is that you can just keep doing what you're doing, right? And never get anywhere new, never move forward in where you're going. Or you can take control. Take control of your finances, take control of your life. Take control of your situation so that you're no longer left to the whims of the outside world. Now you can be in control. So the three options are: you can do nothing, you can keep doing what you're doing, or you can take control. The next one is the logical restatement close. So this is really where you're going to break down exactly what the facts are. Look, here are the facts. And then you just go boom, boom, boom. We already know that you have cancer in your prostate. And we know that what the medical industry can do for you, or what the cancer industry can do for you, is totally unhelpful. You're actually better off not doing anything. Why? Because the facts are your immune system is totally strong enough to deal with this, but it can't battle the disease unless you give it the nutrients that it needs. And that's exactly what this supplement does. So that's how you just do a logical restatement close, and you move them in, you bring in the research again, you bring it on the testimonials, and you just kind of pile it on in that way. So that's the logical restatement close. Then there's the reason why close. So here's just some strong reasons. You're going to give them some strong reasons on why they should do this. So it could be increased savings. It could be limited time bonuses. It could be the free shipping, the proof elements. You can focus on the strong testimonies or the solid research. It can be a scarcity. Hey, time's running out on this offer. We only have 100 left. It could be exclusivity. Hey, this offer is only for qualified people. Or there's the guarantee, hey, you don't have to pay, or like in the offer, with the payment structure, you don't have to pay for 3 months. Okay. So these are some, you're going to give them some strong why closes that kind of tip them over. And this works when those elements are super powerful. It's almost like they'd rather have that stuff than the thing you're actually selling them. Then there's just, then let's see here. I'm going to move to my next one here. The simple restatement close. So here's what you're just going to restate everything you've already said. And you're going to talk about why it's going to impact their life. So it's going to impact their money. It's going to impact health. It's going to impact their status, how other people view them, what people think of them. It's going to impact their value system. This is going to it's going to move you in the direction of the things that you value. So if you're a vegetarian, it's going to move you toward that value. Talk to them about how it would impact their worldview, their life, and how it matches up with their worldview. So in this case, you're going to just restate everything you said. Why? So you're going to talk about like why it impacted their life. You're going to state everything else that they get. You're going to state the guarantee so that you're reversing the risk, and then you're going to ask for the order. So that's the simple restatement close. Then the next one is, but wait, there's more. Another way of asking this is, hey, what else do you need? And that's where you're going to pile on the bonuses and then pile on the value. The reason that you do that is that you're trying to get to that, say, 10 times the value and do it. So like if you're selling a $1,000 product, you want to try to show $10,000 in value and then show the product as the $1,000 item so that it looks like such a great deal. And you do that that's what but wait, there's more, but wait, there's more, or what else do you need? Let's see. What else do you need? Oh, you're going to need this. Well, what else would you need? Oh, well, you're going to need this. And, we talked about this thing, so you're probably going to want this extra thing. So that's kind of how that works. That's the but wait, there's more close. And then there's the unique position close, otherwise known as the USP. And this is not to be confused with some pithy little statement about, that you fit into 3 words and that everyone gets all worked up about. I hate those things. I think they're a waste of time. Don't waste your time on USPs. But what you can talk about is, hey, something like, look, I'm the only person who has this experience. And I'm the only one who's accomplished these things. I'm the only one who has the keys to success. And I'm the only one who can share it with you. So it's unique in the sense that you're the only one who's got this. You're the package. You're the unique package. They're not going to find it anywhere else. And so they got to come to you. So that's called the USP close. Now, here's the thing is that you can mix and match all of these. So you can use all of them. You can use some of them. You can do one and then roll into another one, and then come back in and restate what it is that they're getting, and then roll back into another one. So those are just a few options there. The other thing that you could do is you want to use the you agree in connection with the close. So you want them agreeing with the things that, well, you want to agree with the things that they're thinking about. Okay. And so you want to, you don't want to you want to try to answer every objection that they can think of. And you want, but that's going to happen also in the body. I mean, really by this point, they shouldn't have really any questions. By the time they roll into the close, maybe they'll have some questions about how the offer is structured. Are there payments? How can I pay? All of those things. So this is where your offer is going to come in, and this is where it's going to shine. This is where they're going to find out what the offer is. And we've already talked about the 9 different elements of the offer. So if you don't remember that stuff, go back and look at that. Because that's the close is where the offer is going to come out, and you're going to talk to them about it. Here's something else to think about, though, is you don't want to leave any open-ended questions in your copy unless you're saying something like, "Hey, who else wants to make $1 million?" Or, have you made these mistakes? Those kinds of questions where there's not a yes and no. If you're going to ask a yes or no question, then you make sure you answer it the way that you want them to answer it. Okay. So if you say, isn't this the most amazing deal you've ever that's ever been created? Absolutely. There's nothing else like this in the world. That is, if you were going to ask that kind of question, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you're going to ask that kind of question, if you insist on doing that, then make sure you answer the question. Okay. Now, here's the last part that you need to keep in mind is that you want to use future pacing in connection with the close. You're going to use future pacing all the way along, but what the future pacing means is that you want people to see what the future possibilities are if they buy your product or service. Okay. So you want them to think about what their lives are going to look like. You want that transformative state of mind where they've already acquired it. They've already have it. It's as soon as they buy it, it's theirs. That future thing is theirs. It's coming. It's kind of like the way that the Jews had faith in the Messiah to come, and it was counted as for them, right? So the Jews were told by God that the Messiah is coming, but so many of them died before he even came, but it was counted to them as faith because they trusted that Jesus was coming. And that's the kind of thought process that we want them to be having, that even though they don't have that future thing, that future lifestyle, that they are convinced that once they have this thing, it's just inevitable that future lifestyle, that future thing, whatever it is that you're painting, that future pacing that you're getting is inevitable. It's coming. They just need to get this thing, and then they're off to the races. Okay, guys, so that's what I got for you. Let me just go back over the 6 close. So there's the crossroads close. You can do nothing. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can take control. There's the logical restatement where you break down what the facts are. There's the reason why, all the benefits, the strong benefits that you have, and all the bonuses and et cetera, et cetera. There's the restatement close of you're just wrapping everything and how it's going to impact their life. There's the but wait, there's more close where you're piling on bonuses and the value. You're trying to build up that value so that it makes the price look like a good deal. There's the USP close where, hey, look, I'm the only one who can really offer you this. There's no point in looking anywhere else. And then we just talked about future pacing. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hope that was super helpful. Now, over the next week, what I want you to do is write out your copy, apply your copy so that it's leading your prospects straight down the road. So practice writing your copy using each of these 6 closes that we talked about. And then remember, you can choose just one close, but often it's best to mix it up and use multiple ones. All right, so go kill it. Go do what you got to do, and go make some success for yourself.